Hi everyone, Bethany here with Ask a Puppy Trainer Show, episode number 76. And we've got Sparky bowing out. He was off a few days, so now he thinks he just can get away with not showing up to work. So you're stuck with just me and my pal Dusty. This is my, it hurts me to say it, but senior dog border collie Dusty. He still herds sheep, but he's quite the lounger nowadays too. But anyway, I'm going to get right to your questions. I encourage you to ask questions in the comments because I've only got a few today, and I think I'm going to be able to get through it under 30. I mean, I can draw anything out if y'all want me to. But anyway, make sure you put your questions in the comments. I need the age of the dog, the puppy, and the breed or breed mix, just so I get a rough estimate. I do want to say this really quick, guys. You know, I hate to discourage questions. I don't mean to, but if your dog is 2 and older, they're not really in our puppy category anymore, and we just have to stay on brand. And so I apologize if you don't get your questions heard. It's because sometimes we get 2 years old and up, and so I'm gonna have to skip over those. Okay. Moving on, we got a really, man, this one is going to tug at your heartstrings, and I'm feeling rather emotional today, so get ready. From our blog, Why Puppies Bark and How to Stop It, we got a comment from Brenda that asks, I have a blind puppy. He frequently runs in circles. Most of the time he isn't barking. He's really just mostly running in a circle, sometimes barking. Any hints on this disability and ways to help him? Brenda, I am going to answer your question. I'm just going to talk to Instagram, even though it's from our blog. I am going to answer your question, but I just have to say, you have a dog with a disability. You know, if I had a friend or a family member, I mean, obviously a child, but even just a friend with a disability, I would go do tons of research and get a professional to help me communicate better with that friend. I highly encourage you to do that for this dog. Now, don't get me wrong, YouTube is pretty great. I mean, you can, if you do your research, if you've got the time, you can really find probably entire programs around dogs that are blind, although blind is not as common as deaf. Because we come across deaf quite a bit. Blind is a little harder, I'll say that. You've got to get some one-on-one help immediately to really help navigate you with this dog, because once a dog learns a bad habit, there is no unlearning it. Okay? If a dog is really barking, nervous, reactive, some of this is genetics, but there's no unlearning it. It's just how to try to rehab that moment or that decision your dog keeps making that you don't like, that's not good for the dog. But it still becomes like a baseline. It creates neural pathways in the brain of a baseline. And then you got to work really hard to create new ones. My point is, you want to be preventative as much as possible. So you got to get some one-on-one help right away, because I can do 30 minutes on all the things you need to do with a blind dog. But let me start with this. This dog can hear. Okay, so I usually do deaf dogs, so I got to put myself in the different disability mindset. I would honestly probably do clicker training with this dog. The dog might get used to hearing a lot of humans' voices, and kind of tune them out. Even if you're really good at good food, yes, food. I would do a click and food. So get a trainer that does clicker training, that's going to gear up a clicker, show you how to gear up a clicker, and really start to connect with that dog on that level. Sometimes, not always, sometimes positive interrupters work with puppies. So if you teach click food, as soon as you see your puppy starting to get worked up, click, and he'll freeze, and you're like, come, or you go over to him, food, click food, then put a leash on him, and then guide him to something else. Don't get me wrong, I mean, even dogs that get a lot of exercise will still do this because their brain stays in arousal mode a lot, but I would say that you need to do more mental work with this puppy on leash. This puppy should be on leash a lot to really get used to you guiding him with the leash, with click and food, and guidance with the leash. This puppy can hear, so I'm really excited at the possibilities for you, and like as far as being able to be off leash in the house and be off leash in the yard potentially, but truly you have, just like every puppy, you have to start with tons of leash work, and you're just going to shape some things a little differently. And I think click and food is the first, step that you're going to do besides the leash. Okay, but you've got to interrupt that behavior. That behavior and any other behavior where arousal gets out of control, you just cannot nurture that. And if you let it go, if you let it keep going without interrupting it in some way, it's like you're saying yes. And it is nurturing it, and it will get worse, or it'll lead to other things. So I'll jump on that right away. Okay. Moving on, Naomi Marie, that's my middle name. I love that name. It's my grandmother's name. Okay, a great grandma's name. Anyway, not relevant. Any tips on training a 1.5-year-old pit shepherd mix with a stroller and a baby? We have a baby due soon. Aw, oh, congratulations. That's wonderful. What I would say is, I'm not trying to be mean or like funny or anything, I swear, but can your dog walk on a leash without a stroller? Because that is super important. And can your dog walk on a leash with distractions on a stroller? Also equally important. So let's make sure that is, let's assume that is fine. That's not an issue. Basically, if you've got one of those cheaper strollers, go get a sack of flour and stick in the stroller and start going for a walk with a stroller with a sack of flour in it. Sometimes the nicer strollers, they don't need that, and you just need to go and you just need to practice. My personal opinion is I would never say never, but I would never attach the leash to the stroller. Every now and then I see that. It's usually with small dogs, so I guess that's not as bad, but they can still jerk the stroller if they really pull. But you always want it in your hand. And if you don't have a baby in it, it'll be much easier to start one-handed, and you have the leash in the other hand down to your side like normal, and then have your little treat pouch. Like sometimes there's like a little area at the top of the stroller. You can have your little food pouch, and you practice doing turns. Practice doing turns with the dog on the outside, as well as respecting the stroller, just like you would teach a dog to respect a bike wheel if you teach a dog to do a bike, and do turns into the dog. So you need like a driveway or something to practice this on. And when you turn into the dog and you do a circle, see, even this motion makes Dusty move away. He's a border collie, so he's very sensitive to spatial pressure. But anyway, if I move in like this and my dog is like, whoa, what the heck? And then he turns and gets out of the stroller's way, good, stop, food. Then turn with your dog on the outside, stop, food. And then when that is comfortable, like some of those turns, and do wide turns to start with, right? And then make them shorter and sharper, because you're going to need to be turning on a sidewalk or turning when you go, to a cafe or I don't know, wherever. And so you want to eventually make those turns really tight to where your dog sees that wheel coming at him and he just backs up comfortably and gets out of the way because he's used to it, because you've practiced it. It's a very comfortable thing. So that's what I would suggest to start with. And then you just start practicing on your walk. Now, when you're not dealing with an actual baby, then you can take 10 steps of heel or let's go, whatever you use, just loose leash, and stop every 10 steps, sit, food. Go 10 more steps, stop and sit, food. Go 10 more steps, stop and sit, food. The other thing I would, and this is just while you're practicing, because I know you won't do that when you actually have the baby. And then you can increase those steps more and more and more. And wean off the food too. It's kind of up to you where you want your dog to hang at. Some dogs it's really difficult. For Dusty, for instance, he likes to be wherever the front dog is, or if I have a cart, he likes to be with the cart, whatever's in the front, because he thinks he's like watching it, I'm sure. But he doesn't ever push that. So if I had Dusty, I would be totally okay with him kind of heeling with the stroller a little bit. I would be totally fine with that. My other dog, Dakota, I absolutely would never allow that because that would lead to her pulling and feeding off of her environment. She's a social butterfly. She drives me crazy. And so she has to be kept back in a tighter heel. She'll heel with me, not with the stroller. So, you know, what's the temperament of your dog? What are you comfortable with? But for me, loose leash, either up a little bit with the stroller or back with you. That's what you're trying to hone into. And one of the great ways that you can really work on that is after your dog has gotten kind of comfortable with the stroller and they're pushing that boundary and now they're all the way up next to where your kid will be, catch them earlier, catch them on the drive forward and turn the stroller in towards them, do a turn and continue on your way every time they push that boundary. So you're using the stroller instead of your body, you're using the stroller as spatial pressure to move in, okay? So that's another thing that you can keep in mind. One more thing, and this is for anybody out there who is about to have a baby. You gotta practice your baby voice because dogs will totally leave you behind when you do your baby voice. And I kid you not, I see this. I'm in the city, so I get access to a lot. And I see this on a regular basis where the dog might sit, maybe sit by the stroller and the kid is screaming and the mom goes and gets something and she's like shaking it. She's like, look at this. Hi, look, why don't you hold on to this? And the dog has stood up, is pulling, hyper-focusing on a squirrel, totally gone because you're no longer in charge of the walk. You've let your guard down. And so if you got a German Shepherd, that German Shepherd may be on guard, like very well might be put them on guard because you let your guard down. If you've got some happy-go-lucky pitty, that pitty is like, ooh, squirrel. Or that pitty is putting his head in the stroller lap, wanting to be a part of that energy, which is also a no. You need to sit there and you need to be calm. So you could practice this stuff. Wheel around to your sack of flour and be like, hi. And when your dog gets up, no, sit. Good. Piece of food. Hi there, baby. Piece of food. How's it going, baby? Piece of food. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. I do this for a living. I have like so many situations where I've gotten like dolls that speak and move, and I'm like, hello, baby. I'm not kidding. You want to practice it now. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to move on, but that's what I would suggest for the stroller walk. Okay. So we did a reel, an IG reel, okay, and a TikTok. It said, when will my golden retriever be calm, or doodle be calm? And it was like, never. So the big thing was you got to nurture calm. That's the big thing. You want to nurture a calm environment, a calm dog. And Savannah asked, so does this mean rewarding calm with attention? Well, that would be kind of counterintuitive. Like it depends on what your attention is like. And so something we talk about all the time in show, I know, hopefully you guys aren't tired of it, but if my dog is dead asleep, I'm going to leave them alone and I'm going to teach my kids to leave them alone. But if they're awake, then I can go over to them or calmly call them over to me. And I want to make sure, Dusty dog, Dusty, face the Dusty over here. Can you face the cameras? Dusty, right here. Right here. Touch. How come you do this all? Oh, thank you. Okay, there we go. it's like I don't perform for the cameras. Is you want to make sure that the way you're touching your dog and interacting doesn't affect their state of mind. So he stays calm, okay? The tail doesn't start wagging like crazy. If I do scratches, it's not like this, good boy, unless I'm trying to amp him up. It's calm scratchies. I don't even go for the face right away because especially with puppies, the face tends to create mouthing, nippiness, excitedness, and they kind of get like this. You got to remember, attention causes stimulation. So what are you nurturing the most? I want to represent calm and nurture calm. So there's one way to look at it is the affection that you're giving. You don't want it to alter the state of mind of your dog to gear them into excitement, okay? So it's chest, neck, body, belly rubs, slow belly rubs, totally fine. Then if your puppy is calmer, you could try some ear rubs and some face rubs. But if they get wily, stop it. Like your dog is telling you, your puppy's telling you that that's not going to work for them. So that's one aspect of what we meant specifically. The other aspect of it is if my dog is excited in front of me, my puppy or dog, but if my puppy is really, really excited in front of me, and I'm really excited too, good boy, oh yeah, you're so cute with your little jumping around and everything, then that's what you become. That's what you start to associate yourself with, and that's what you're nurturing, is an excited forward motion brain. Now that's okay in a very limited capacity, but we don't do it as people, as humans right now, our culture. We don't do that in a 10 to 20% capacity. We do it in the 80% capacity, if not more. And that's a huge leading factor to so many of the issues and the anxiety that we're having with our puppies, not just the not listening to us, but the anxiety, the constantly feeding off the environment, forward motion brain, just all the problems that we're seeing as a culture. I recently found out, because I'm in another world now. He's got his own IG situation now. And so I've been immersed in that world, and I have found out that it is actually a trend to have, my new puppy is anxious. It's like the new thing. All the puppies are anxious. I'm like, whoa, what? That's people making excuses for their dog on their famous Instagrams. I'm like, that is not going to be us. So anyway, I just want to point that out to you. Is those are the two things that we really meant by that, is when your dog is calm is when they should be getting affection, and it shouldn't change their demeanor. And then don't nurture excitement happening right in front of you. Now, if you get a toy out, or if you're doing some fun recalls, if you need to motivate your dog because they're slow, they're not super excited, and they're kind of slower and sluggish, then yeah, you're going to have to use a little bit more excitement, but that's more sounding motivational, like a track coach or something like that, not like, yay! So you just really want to limit how much you do that. And if you create it, then you can bring it back down. So if I pull out a toy and he's feeling lazy, which is never if I have a toy, but if he was, I could get him really, really amped up, because then I can calm him back down, because I represent calm, confident energy, and I don't nurture needy, anxious-ridden excitement. Like, I just don't participate in that. And so that goes a really long way into how your puppy will develop. Okay, moving on. Abby says, do you have any advice for Sheepadoodles? I'm getting one soon. Sheepadoodle. Okay, so not Bernedoodle. Sorry, I'm going to put on like all the doodle hats. I got to figure out which one this is. The Sheepadoodle. Honestly, Sheepadoodles we've seen come in all kinds of a mixture of temperaments. Oh, are you done? You done with me? I would just say, like any other doodle mix, you got to remember, doodle mixes do not come out family dogs, which honestly, in my opinion, and I think in Sparky's opinion too, has been a big misconception of the golden doodle world, is that they're the best family dogs, and what happens is they end up being overly anxious or excited and barking and jumping and crazy town, because you still have to train them, right? And so I wouldn't treat a Sheepadoodle any different than I would any other dog that I know genetically tends to be a bit more on the excited side. Now, your sheepdog might focus him in a bit, might mellow him out a bit, but you don't know that, and you won't know that, because you can have a calm, chill puppy, and through adolescence be wondering, what in the world happened? So not to scare you, but let me just say this. Everything you would normally do with a puppy, you're going to do with a Sheepadoodle. You're going to start with a crate, a sectioned off area in your home, or a playpen. That works too. You're not going to give the puppy free roaming around the house. Dogs see space as territory. So what happens is, when you give a puppy free space in the house to like sniff around and hang out with you guys, there's no leash, you get potty issues. That's the first thing that happens. And then when they reach 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months old, you start to get territorial issues. And then you're trying to pull back from that when you're the one, not you, but you, the general you, gave the puppy the space in the first place. So they get to go in their designated areas. You have training time, play time. You have focused, calmer training time, meaning you're not always like, puppy, come, yay, good, sit, good, down, stay, come. Depending on the temperament of your puppy, you need to be able to adjust, okay? That's for a puppy you need to motivate. Your Sheepadoodle may not need motivation. Just having food might be like, oh my God, I cannot wait to do this. And so you have to be calm, slower, more boring to counteract where your puppy's at. So these are just some of the skills that you'll kind of just learn as you go. And I would say, if you like, we do have our Puppy Academy has an online school. You just go to thepuppyacademy.com and you can check that out if you want. We go over things in detail. We have like normal classes, and then we have a lot of side stuff for all those nuances. So I'd like to get to some questions that we've seen pop up on Instagram.
From Bethany. Do you want to read it or want me to?
Bethany. Dogs being allergic to pine, does that mean no real Christmas trees in the house? It depends on how allergic. Is it only when they touch the pine, or is it the smell and being around the pine? That's what matters. And obviously when you bring it in and drag it out, do a really good job of cleaning up all the needles. But it depends. I don't know a ton about allergies where I could answer, is it going to be airborne or physical touch? Because to me, it's very easy to get a dog to not bother something. I know that sounds like I'm bragging. Sorry. But even puppies are harder. So I'll tell you what I did one time. So let's say that airborne, like sniffing it in the air, not touching it, is no big deal, but he can't touch it. I had 2 puppies one Christmas. I'll never do this again. But I was working with 2 puppies one Christmas. This was years ago, like 15 years ago. I still have a photo in my apartment with my tree and a fence around the tree. And so, you know, people have to do that with cats. Of course, a fence won't stop a cat. I don't know what people do with cats. But anyway, that's what I would suggest. But you got to find out. You got to find out if it's airborne or if it's physical touch. Next, Benny Doodle again. Also, I see a lot of ads for supplements. Are there any that you recommend? I want my pup to have the best life possible, but some of these things are given snake oil vibes. Oh yeah, definitely. I can mention a few things, right? Yes, okay. Just making sure. Usually I'm yelling at Sparky to shut up, but that's only for like negative reviews. Okay.
We're not a vet. But...
We're not, oh yes, disclaimer. We are not a vet. I don't want to talk about vets and nutrition. I'll move on from that. Okay, but there's my disclaimer. So I have always used Missing Link for just general supplements. And for me, puppy, and you were just talking about in general, yeah, I like Missing Link. However, I did an experiment recently. I've been wanting to mention this, but no one's asked it in a while. You know the whole grass eating thing? So many dogs eat grass like crazy. The whole grass eating thing is a big issue. Sometimes it starts with digestion issues, just a little bit of an upset tummy, then becomes a habit, and then the dogs just like it. And then other times there just seems to be no issue at all. We just teach them not to, so it doesn't get to be an obsessive issue, right? Okay. I saw another trainer say exactly the same thing I'm about to say. I tried Volhard, Volhard. It's a rather expensive brand of dog food, but for good reason. I've used it before, but I moved on to something else. But I tried their vegetable medley because this trainer tried it with their dog that eats grass all the time. I tried it with Dusty and my German Shepherd, and it is not cheap, but within 2 weeks they stopped eating grass in the yard. I don't know. I'm just saying, I want to try it on my elderly dog Maverick, who is a grass hoover on hikes. He's my next one that I'm going to experiment on and try it. Obviously, it's something you need to keep up, but I think that's interesting. I've been wanting to ask Sparky about it too. He's really into nutrition and stuff, as everybody should be for their dogs. But anyway, that is 2 companies that I would definitely look at. They're very highly established. I'll just stop there and move on. Okay, we got anything else? Anything on TikTok?
I don't make money from that either.
Oh yeah, we don't make money from that. I haven't even mentioned Full Hard before, mostly because of the price. But they're crazy good, crazy good. Okay, guys, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you same time, same place next week. And just remember, you can DM your questions. You can please include the age of the dog and the breed mix of the dog, and I'll see you here next week, Wednesday.